Welcome once again to the launch of our inaugural Barbados Risk and Insurance Management Conference. Thank you for being here this morning. And I would just like to say that we are excited to be launching our first Risk and Insurance Management Conference. The international insurance industry is doing very well for Barbados at the moment. We were pleased to see, thanks to some statistics shared with us recently by the Financial Services Commission, that we have managed to see growth in 2020, despite everything that was going on. We had 16 new entrants into the international insurance, especially the captive insurance industry here in Barbados. And so now I would like to turn over to our president, Mr. Derek Cummins, who will begin with his opening address. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Carmel. Good morning to the CEO of the Financial Services Commission, Mr. Castigai, members of the board and executive of BPI, our sponsors, members of the media, other especially invited guests. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the launch of our inaugural Barbados Risk and Insurance Management, or BRIM, virtual conference. BRIM 2021 will take place on March 24th to 25th, completely online. When we first conceptualized this conference a year ago, it was in recognition of the fact that Barbados, as a mature international insurance domicile, was missing out on attracting hundreds of industry professionals who flock to other destinations that host such major risk and insurance management conferences each year. Barbados continues to distinguish itself among the top 10 domiciles for captive insurance business globally. And while we regret not being able to showcase in person all that Barbados has to offer to an international audience, following on the heels of the highly successful virtual Global Business Conference in October 2020, we thought the timing was right to now focus the spotlight on an industry that is yet growing in an increasingly volatile and uncertain world. 2020 saw irrevocable disruptions to business as usual across all industries. But the insurance industry has been the most widely impacted as businesses and individuals grapple with the fallout of the global novel coronavirus pandemic. The industry worldwide is seeing a high demand for coverage. But on the flip side, insurers are facing high capital adequacy requirements, creating the type of hard market that leaves clients little room for negotiating on premiums and ensures very little appetite for writing new policies. Along with the impact of COVID-19, Barbados and the rest of the region always face catastrophic risk from hurricanes and other natural disasters. Last year, we saw one of the most active seasons on record, and early indicators are for 2021 to be similarly active. With all these variables on our doorstep, we are therefore pleased that we have been able to attract a number of highly knowledgeable speakers to unpack what this all means to us and the insurance and risk management industry. Speakers will include our own Professor Avinash Prasad, the chairman of the regulator for the industry, the Financial Services Commission, Ben Arundale, special advisor to the Prime Minister of Barbados on international business matters, and of Sidle Banking Trust. Also, Michael Soricio, chair of Marsh Capital Solutions in the Americas, Daryl Sinek, partner and national insurance leader with BDO Canada, and Elizabeth Emmanuel, technical assistance manager for the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, among others. We have designed this conference as a must-attend event for risk, insurance, finance, investment, legal, and any professionals aligned with the insurance sector, especially the captive industry. Given its virtual nature, we expect to attract over 200 conference delegates, to participate in a discussion on a variety of topics, including risk management post-pandemic, emerging market, new opportunities, new initiatives, including coverage in cyber risk and pandemic risk management and climate change, managing investment portfolios for captives, regulation in a post-COVID world, IFRS 17, it's time for a straight line to the finish, credit 101 for captives, and investment opportunities in a low yield environment. To have achieved the state second conference in 6 months after our October conference would not have been possible without our valued sponsors who choose to align their corporate brand with this new and exciting offering in our professional development calendar. I would at this time like to acknowledge our diamond sponsors, RBC Dominion Securities Global and USA Risk Group, both of which you hear from later. Our platinum sponsor, London and Capital, our gold sponsor, Strategic Risk Solutions, and our bronze sponsors, Invest Barbados, Sagicor Life Inc., and Summit Asset Management. We thank you all for coming on board with this conference. Thank you for the attention, and I look forward to having you join us at BRIMS 2021 as we explore the future of risk and insurance management. I now invite Elliot Barra, Vice President, Portfolio Management with RBC Dominion Securities Global, and Jean Crawford, Senior Vice President with USA Risk, to deliver some remarks on behalf of our sponsors. Thank you all.
Thanks, Derek. Jean, I'll give you the honors to go first. I think you're muted, Jean.
You can unmute, Jean.
And unmuting. Morning, everyone. Morning to our president of BIBA, Derek, to Carmel Haynes, and to all the other sponsors. USA Risk Group has been in this industry since 1986. I think that speaks to the longevity of the industry and our commitment to Barbados as captive managers. We are so excited, as Carmel said, to be involved in this and be a diamond sponsor and part of pushing forward the inaugural insurance conference in Barbados. This is something I think is long overdue, and BIBA has our full support and commitment for 2021 and going forward. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Jean. Similar sentiments on behalf of RBC Dominion Securities Global. We are very excited to be partnered with the first inaugural BRIM conference. The captive industry is a significant industry for us here at RBC Dominion Securities Global. On an average annual basis, we are growing our captive investment assets by about $100 million. And as you will see from some of the stats that will be spoken of later, the new formations of captives in Barbados continues to grow. And it is an industry that we are very excited to be partnered with, and we will commit to being diamond sponsors for the life of this conference going forward, as we really do think this is a very important thing for Barbados and for our industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan and Elliot, for those very encouraging words of support. And so I would now like to open the floor briefly to the media if they have any questions.
Hey, morning. Sean here from The Nation. Hey, Derek mentioned you're hoping or expecting to attract 200 attendees. What basically is your target audience for this conference?
So our target audience are basically anyone who is directly or indirectly involved in the insurance industry. So of course, we have, general insurers, captive insurance managers, life insurers, actuaries, lawyers, accountants, any other financial service industry professionals who have a direct or indirect service relationship with the insurance sector. So that is our audience.
Just
It was
to
mentioned.
add to that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, just want to speak to the jurisdictions also. We are not just looking for this for local delegates, but we expect international delegates to this conference. Much like you would see at Canadian RIMS over the many years that's been on, that delegates flock from many jurisdictions to come and hear and to exchange and to interact with each other. So local, regional, and international delegates is our market for this conference.
Virtually every speaker here this morning has said basically this conference is long overdue and it's important. But why now? What are those risks out there in terms of the insurance industry that companies and the country should be concerned about that would prompt you to hold this conference? I know in these times, cybersecurity, money laundering, those are some of the issues that people are concerned about. From an insurance perspective, what are some of the concerns?
Ricardo, if you may take that, please.
Well, I think as was said earlier, what we do in Barbados and what the world has been seeing really is a hardening of the markets, of the insurance markets, which basically means insurance is harder to obtain, either in the leverage of coverage or actually the increase in price. What captive insurance companies in particular do is allows individual companies to manage their own risk. As was noted, we in Barbados have seen the largest increase, one of the largest increase in captives. I think the number has been 16 over the last year, which is a big number. And it is directly because of the hardening of the market, the inability for individual companies, whether in manufacturing, in farming, in whatever industries worldwide, the ability to get access, and that access to insurance can be gained through establishing a company in Barbados, which is one of the top 10 jurisdictions in the world. I don't think we can really speak to a lot of industries in the world that Barbados is in the top 10. And we are in the top 10 of an industry which is growing during, sadly, one of the harshest pandemics that the world has ever seen. So I think it is a good foundation for us to build on as a nation, in particular in these hard times. So, I mean, from my perspective, any assistance we can get from a governmental perspective as far as facilitating this type of business would be something that the industry would fully support, especially at this time where we seem to be making good headway.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Continue there.
For the benefit of the media, sorry, Derek, I just wanted to alert to the fact that Ricardo Knight is he is the chair of our Marketing and Communications Committee, but he's also the Senior Vice President of Marsh Captive Solutions. So just to give Ricardo his title, should you quote him. Derek, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Carmel. Shauna was just also continuing Ricardo's point based on your question. Yes, all the traditional risks that we are aware of, catastrophe risk, the weather, etc. But as you alluded to, the newer risks, the cyber risks, etc. Those are all under the umbrella of risk, which we look at, which we consider as we find new ways of doing businesses. Along with that comes new and other risks which will be considered. You consider now the risk of a loss of revenue risk to be considered, as we see that is a real a real aspect of business out of this pandemic. How do you deal with that? And the reality, just to strengthen Ricardo's point, businesses are finding it more difficult. And even my experience in my former organization, what a year, 2 years ago, we would have gone out to the market to get director and officer insurance. We've gone to the international market and we've gotten many quotations in no time. In 2020, it took a hell of a lot longer to get a couple of quotations, and the pricing of those were different. The availability of those were different. So the premiums are up. So what you're able to do with captive insurance is to plan your coverage, get your coverage, plan your coverage, plan your premiums, and to better control the way you manage and you cover your risk through insurance. And Barbados, as Ricardo said, has been a leading domicile for captive insurance, as with most states originally out of Canada, but now beyond that. So yes, that we paid more attention to this sector, that not only is good for the insurers, but then we have, as I said, RBC Dominion as a sponsor. We have London Capital. These are investment managers. The investment managers get opportunity then also to manage the premiums, the assets that are gained or received from this insurance. So it is another industry that impacts the Barbados international business in many facets and gives great opportunities. And it's a resilient industry in that, again, you do business, you are open to risk, and you have to do your best to mitigate against this risk with insurance. You insure your life, you insure your family, you insure your health. You have to insure all aspects of your business. So this is one thing that we can almost guarantee. As much as we can guarantee anything, this industry will continue to grow and will continue to be a necessary industry.
Thank you, Derek. And Sean, just to put this into context, as Derek mentioned, traditionally we have had a large presence from Canada. And if you look at the numbers, as I noted, the Financial Services Commission said we had 217 entities in Barbados last year, including the 16 new formations. And out of those, 142 of the captives were from Canada, but we've also seen considerable numbers from the USA. So we have 71 from the USA, and then the rest are spread between Latin America, the rest of the Caribbean, and Europe. So it is a significant portion of our global business sector when you have 279 captive entities here. Are there any other questions from the media?
No. Okay, well, if that is the case, I will now invite Mr. Nicholas Critchlow, who is now on screen, and Nicholas is the chair of our insurance committee to deliver closing remarks. And thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you, Carmel. Mr. Castigai, CEO of the Financial Services Commission, members of the board and executive of BIBA, sponsors, members of the media, other specially invited guests. As BIBA Insurance Chair, I thank you for joining us today to the launch of our inaugural Barbados Risk and Insurance Management Conference. The Barbados International Insurance sector has existed for over 30 years and over time has grown and has continued to contribute significantly to the economy of Barbados. This conference is yet another step in the evolution of the sector and promises to add value by showcasing to the international community what Barbados has to offer and how companies can manage risk by establishing an insurance company here in Barbados. As we close, I would like to thank our immediate past chair of the committee, Jan Crawford, BIBA Marketing and Communications Committee Chair and fellow Senior Vice President at Marsh Capital Solutions in Barbados, Ricardo Knight, and Elliot Barrow and Kevin Armstrong of RBC Dominion Securities Global for their having spearheaded this initiative. A large thank you to our sponsors who, through their commitments, are making this event you have heard about today possible. Diamond sponsors RBC Dominion Securities Global and the USA Risk Group. Our platinum sponsor, London and Capital. Our gold sponsor, Strategic Risk Solutions, and our bronze sponsors, Invest Barbados, Sagicor Life Inc., and Summit Asset Management. I say thank you as well to our Executive Director, Carmel Haynes, and her team in the BIBA Secretariat for moving this conference from concept to reality. And finally, thank you to each of you who attended this launch today, and we look forward to welcoming you to our BRIM 2021 virtual conference. Thank you.
Thank you too, Nicholas. And so with that, we are going to wrap up now. So just to remind you, BRIM 2021 will be taking place virtually on March 24th and 25th this year. We've got an exciting lineup of speakers. We only gave you a taste, but the speakers and the full list of topics will be available on our website.
And once again, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Have a great day, and we will see you at BRIM 2021.